Thanks for joining us for another Tantrum House crowdfunding conniption. Today we'll be taking a look into the 9th Circle, which is on Kickstarter from R&R Games.
Now we want to make sure that you're aware that our crowdfunded videos are sponsored in part by our own Kickstarter backers, as well as by the creators of this game. Thanks for joining us for Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we'll be delving into the 8th and ultimately 9th Circle of Hell, inspired by the classic Dante's Inferno. In this game, you'll take on the role of a Dark Lord trying to get your minions through the 10 realms of the 8th Circle and ultimately into the 9th Circle in order to gain favor with Malakota before his patience runs out.
9th Circle, from designers Rebecca Blue and Nicholas Krivada, is an area control, area influence game for 2 to 5 players that takes about an hour to play. Now in this video we aren't going to be sharing any opinions on the game, but we do want to show you what the game looks like being played so that you can make an informed decision when it comes to being a backer on Kickstarter. Let's go ahead and jump in and see how it's played.
To set up the game, select 8 realms for your game and place Malakota on A.
Give each player their board, shield, and box of tokens, and then you're ready to begin.
During the reinforce phase, everyone will secretly plan where they'd like their minions to go on the board. During later rounds, they may also move 3 minions using their markers.
Then, once everyone is ready, the starting player will execute all of the placement and movements on the board.
Each player does the same, and then, during the realm dominance phase, players will take control of each realm based on majorities.
In the third phase, each lord with control uses the realm's powers. These actions may include things like destroying a minion or moving other players' minions.
Once all actions are completed, the round is scored. Favor is awarded for minions that made it into the 9th Circle, based on the chart, and then they are destroyed and returned to their supply box.
Malakota also grants 1 favor for each shade controlling a realm, and 2 favor for the realm where he is located.
Before the next round begins, players gain new minions based on their favor, and Malakota moves 1 space.
Play continues as Malakota moves through all the realms of the 8th Circle, and the player to earn 25 favor first wins.
In the 9th Circle, you will be sending your minions into the 8th Circle of Hell and then trying to get them into the 9th Circle to score points. Now, those different sections or realms around in the 8th Circle all have different actions, and there's more than you can place out on the board. So at the beginning of the game, when you set up, you can select which ones you might want to play with. There's a few that kind of you could use to go together to combo some actions if you can gain control of both of them. So depending on how you set up the board at the beginning, will determine a little bit on how the gameplay is going to feel based on those actions on each space.
Yeah, your strategy is going to change based on that, which is going to add to the replayability of the game. One nice feature of the game is that the board, the pieces that you're adding to the board feature the written text on one side that explains everything you need to know about what happens on that space. As you become more familiar with the game, though, you can flip that over and start using the other side of the board, which features iconography. So once you're familiar with, oh, this symbol means this, you don't have to read it every time. It'll make for a more attractive gameplay experience for people who've played the game before and don't need the reminder on the rules for each space.
Yeah, some of the spaces on the realm markers require you to have favor, and depending on where you scored those favor points on the track is how many times you get to do the action. So you might get to do it 2 or 3 times if you are a little further along in the game.
Yeah, you're going to be improving your stats over the game, which is going to give you more abilities in the game. So as you get further into the game, you will have, not really chains, but just you'll be able to do more, moving more pieces, accomplishing more. So you kind of start off the game with a few pieces out on the board, and then your pieces stay over from round to round. And so those are going to grow, and your numbers, it's going to be harder to keep track of who has power where. And as you shift things around, the game gets shaken up quite a bit.
But as soon as you start sending pieces into the 9th realm to score points, those are taken out and added back to your supply box. So if you start sending them immediately, like on round 2, your numbers are going to dwindle and it's going to be hard to control any of the areas. So you kind of have to balance that of gaining points for sending your minions into the center, or do I keep them all on the outside and try and gain points by having control over the spaces?
There's a little bit of a catch the leader mechanic in it, because the more of the sections that you win in the game, you're actually going to get fewer minions for future rounds to use. So if you didn't do well in one round, you will have more minions to play with, more of the cubes to play with in the next round. Explain to us a little bit about how ties work.
Yeah, so if you're, when you're in that second phase of the game where you're seeing who has the majority, if there are two different people who have a tie, let's say green has 3 and purple has 3, they're both eliminated. They don't move from the board, but whoever has the next highest then will gain the majority. So if, say, white has 2, white would gain the majority for that because the other 2 are battling it out. You still will keep your majority until somebody has surpassed you. So if someone was able to move another minion into a space where you already had the majority, if they tie, they don't take it away from you. It's when they surpass what you've had.
If you see anything that you're interested in Ninth Circle based on what we've shown you, or based on what's on their Kickstarter campaign, we would definitely encourage you to check it out, back them, show your support, and then as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in, following along, liking our videos, commenting, and all that great stuff here at Tantrum House.